All right, boom. So this is Sweet 16 bracket. I'm really like, you know, I'm shocked, honestly. I I thought Florida would be here. I'm kind of shocked, honestly. I guess we can start with Iowa and Nebraska, since I talk about Florida. But Florida was my national championship pick. And I'm shocked, honestly, bro. I did not think they would get put on the Sweet 16. I mean, when you have four NBA players in your front court, the SEC defensive player there near Ruben Chinyelu, a guy who's going to be one of the top defenders in the NBA for a long time. You got Hawk, you got Condon, you got hand logged in. Like no one else has the size that you have up front. Iowa definitely didn't have that size. They have four NBA big men. I thought that and I know Lee in the backcourt wasn't the greatest, but I'm like, man, like this would be enough. Maybe they might not win that championship, but this would be enough to kind of get to the Sweet 16, get to the Elite Eight, you know, and and it wasn't. And honestly, I'm shocked. So Florida was my pick in a lot of my brackets on that championship. I'm shocked that they did not make it. So it's crazy, bro. It's crazy what happened with Florida. So I gotta give credit to Iowa and Ben McCollum. Hell of a coach. What people don't understand is this dude. I mean, it was LJ Michigan without LJ Kaysen, but on at home he had Michigan without LJ Kaysen on the ropes. Took them to the for the final 2 seconds. I mean, it was down to the wire. And then he went on the road versus Nebraska, who were about to play, and almost beat them on the road in their home place. So it's like Iowa. Like I'll be honest, McCollum's an elite coach, bro. Like he's an elite coach, bro. He gets the most out of his team. He gets Austin gets the most out of his teams. And putting him at Iowa, honestly, is just a dangerous thing to do, bro. I really feel like Iowa's gonna be a powerhouse, getting back to being one of the elites in college basketball, a perennial top 25, top 15 team, making Sweet 16, Elite Eight runs, and that kind of stuff. So being a program that produces guys, top guys, and honestly, I'm excited for it. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. Like I said, I didn't, I knew I was really good. I knew they could compete, and I guess I just underrated them. I did not think they would put out Florida. I thought Florida's size would really get to them, but obviously it didn't. I'll be honest, for Florida, you should be embarrassed. I'll say that on that part. Like, Todd Golden definitely botched this team. Like the backcourt play. I mean, I like Lee and I like Clash. I personally wasn't a fan of Boogie Fland. Um, Me personally, I wasn't a big fan of him. Uh, and because I thought he would come in and be like a big time scorer and a big time shooter and that kind of stuff, and he just wasn't. I thought he'd be like kind of with Acuff and like Trey McKinney from Michigan, like those kind of guys. Like, okay, this guy's gonna come and be a big time scorer, and he really wasn't that. He's more like a defender, and a guy who struggled from three, and didn't really have a great jump shot. Wasn't didn't have a reliable jump shot, and they so that botched Florida because he didn't end up being what we thought he was going to be coming out of high school, and he got hurt at Arkansas. I was like, okay, he's going to come back and be that, and just wasn't that. He's just a completely different player now, and and so that botched it. And then Lee, I actually liked the two guys. Actually, like I said, was Lee and Klafshar. But I don't know if Lee's the number one. Like, is he your number one guard on a championship team? Maybe not, but he may be a number two and number three guard on a championship team. Klafshar I think was the guy I liked the most, honestly, probably at Florida. Like that dude is legit. Like Klafshar, like they got one of him. He reminds me a lot of the Will Richard kid, where it's like he's the guy you want, and like as that just shooting guard. Like he's the guy you want next to your superstar point guard or your big time point guard. That could just be a 3 point shooter, space the floor, be a bucket getter. Like he's that Will Richard type guy. The threes he hits from the range and the depth of which he hits them is insane. But to sum it up, they botched the backcourt when it comes to Florida, and that honestly botched this team. You brought back your whole. I mean, they botched the backcourt, but you brought back your whole front court. Um, all four of your bigs, and then it's like all you need to do is just go upgrade your backcourt, and you're chilling. And like you're probably gonna walk to that championship. Um, and you didn't. Like that's just bad on Todd Golden, bro. Like this should have been this team. Like I'm not saying they shouldn't have won. They should have won it, but like you got. I mean, come on, you're bringing back a team that won that championship. Your whole all four of your bigs. Like you really have to botch your backcourt to really not make the Sweet 16. I feel honestly that's what happened. If they had a real backcourt like they had last year, this team would have walked right over Iowa. But they didn't, and now they're a big struggle, and they just didn't have the jump shooting because that's not something their bigs really do. So they rely on their backcourt guys to be able to do that, and they didn't have that this year, and it killed them. Big problem for them this year. They didn't have guys they could trust. Guys came in, they thought they'd be something, and they weren't that. So I would say I just want to talk like that is something I'll say on that Florida part. Like he definitely messed it up. But Iowa, Nebraska, I like. Illinois, Houston. I think it's gonna go Houston, but uh, I like it honestly. Like when it comes to Illinois, Houston, I like Houston as match just because of the coaching advantage. But Illinois is playing a different brand of basketball, and when you're bringing Andre Stojakovic off the bench and doing what he did versus VCU, like bro, like that's a luxury. And honestly, that's why I kind of honestly like, Illinois let me down this year. Like I mean, how many teams can bring Andre Stojakovic off the bench? Keaton Walker, Kylan Boswell, all the big men they have, Jake Davis, like Marjakovic, like I mean, like I'm forgetting a dude right now. Jake Humphreys, I think. Like they have so many dudes. Like they honestly, I feel like underplayed, and like they have the talent to beat anybody. Like Illinois has the talent to beat anybody in America, but it's about are they going to do it? Like will the coach be good enough? Like will everybody be good enough to actually win games like a Houston? Because these are the games that just haven't. They haven't been able to consistently beat these type of teams. So it'll be interesting. Tennessee shocked me. I have Virginia winning. I gotta give credit to Rick Barnes. I was wrong about Tennessee. I didn't think they were that great. They proved me wrong. It's been really impressive, Rick Barnes. I mean, Tennessee's gonna win a national championship, but it's like I gotta give him credit. I can't, like he had a Nate Met who I didn't think was that great. And he got the most out of Nate Met. And and he had Jacoby. Like his team was in the team you look at the national championship, but you see what he did with Jacoby Gillespie. You see what he did with all these young guys that he had on the team. He talked about in the press conference like, "Hey, we got to grow up. Like these dudes are gonna have to step up for us because we need them to. Like we just don't have, we just can't. There's no one else we can go to." So they've had a lot of good young players step up. And like I said, he's gotten the most out of Amet, who struggled earlier in the season, and he got him right. I didn't, that's impressive for him to do that with Amet. You kind of think like a guy like Amet, like oh, struggles, he might just fall apart and that kind of stuff, but he didn't. Like he actually was able to get Amet to play well. Middle of the season and that kind of stuff. And so, like I said, got the most out of him. I'm not sure how. I don't look at him as like an A cup or anything like that. So you kind of got to take it with like a grain of salt, and how he plays and his play style, and understand he just isn't like that level. But yeah, I mean Tennessee, like I said, not national championship contender, but I got to be honest, I was wrong about them. I didn't think they would make it this far. I just thought it was like okay, Gillespie, but who else they really got? I meant like if you get physical with him, is he really gonna show up? But gotta give him credit. He's got the most out of Tennessee team, Sweet 16 team again. But I will say like it's kind of interesting. I really feel like Tennessee should have a better team than what they have this year. Like Tennessee's team isn't a national title contender. Like they're not gonna win a national title. So it's like I will say about Rick Barnes is like, bro, why isn't the team better than what it is? Like I feel like if Tennessee had a couple more dudes on this team, they could really be a true national title contender. And that kind of makes you question, like, what is going on in the offseason? Like, what's going on in the portal recruiting for the Tennessee, like, because they don't need much more, honestly, to be a true contender. I think what's going to hold them back, they just don't have enough big time dudes. They don't have they don't have the dominant offensive players. And I think probably relying on too many young guys, and you don't have enough stars or all conference guys on the team. I think that's what end up catching up to you. But yeah, like I said, big credit to Rick Barnes. He did a great job. Iowa State. I didn't think they won the national title with Joshua Jefferson because of the BYU game. Left a horrible taste in my mouth with Iowa State, and I think it was a TCU game too. But the BYU game is the one that left a horrible taste in my mouth. It was at the end of the season, and so I just wasn't really a fan of what I saw in that game. Joshua Jefferson, I don't. I feel like he's overhyped to me. Just watching him, I never saw like dominant power forward or anything like that, and I don't. And I think that would have shown. Now we'll see if he plays. I'm saying it like his season's over. His season's over, but apparently they reported on the game yesterday it was not a regular ankle injury, whatever. But I think even if you play like I'm gonna like let's just say he doesn't play, right? I think he would have like he was, it would have shown eventually that he just wasn't gonna like he wasn't what he was advertised in that BYU version. The BYU version of Iowa State was gonna show up eventually. So, but I give them credit. Like I mean, it's good for them. I think they're gonna beat Tennessee, be Elite Eight, but this team is not winning that. That team is not winning that shadow. Michigan, Alabama, uh, Alabama. I mean, Nate Oates. You don't doubt him, and he has LeBron Feinlong, who's a top 10 level player in the draft class. LeBron Feinlong doesn't get enough credit. Like Michigan is legit. I mean Alabama, like Feinlong's legit. Like Alabama, really good test. Michigan has had struggle. So first half, I think I forget what they played. It was a close game at halftime, like 3.4 point game, and then the last game with Robbie Olavia. Bro, I just be forgetting. I be forgetting their name, but with Olavia, the baby Jokic dude or whatever, and college the glasses. They went against them. It was a close game at halftime. Then Michigan pulled away. So last weekend, Michigan has pulled away at halftime. But defensively, like those teams have given Michigan's defense problems in the first half, and then Michigan's been able to adjust and make pull away the second half. I want to see like okay because it's not like Alabama isn't a team you want to let them get hot. And if you give Alabama a half to get going, you're not. I don't know if you're just gonna turn. You're not just gonna. It's gonna be hard to turn them off in the second half. So that's my one concern going into this game is like okay, you can't let Alabama come out and score 40, 50 points in the first half. Because if you do, you're gonna have a hard time trying to turn them off in the second half because those guys are already hot. It's the same thing like Machilovic. Like I always think is like, okay, once these guys who are like okay man, this guy's a shooter, and he hits two threes, okay he's hot. And so like now you're screwed because now you let him get hot, and now it's going now it's gonna be really hard to turn off that water. And so that's my one concern. I say, well, Michigan is like if you let them get hot and try to wait the second half to make adjustments or like really adjust to it, you may be screwed, and Alabama may put Michigan out in Sweet 16 because like they're Alabama is not a team. If they get hot, you are going to be in for a long game. I don't care how good you think you are defensively or you're in protection or who you got on the floor. They're going to start hitting because then that's what happens is okay. I'm hot now, so now I can shoot it from anywhere. It doesn't matter, and now that's when you get these guys to making these step backs and 40 foot and jumping over dudes and at the buzzer and all this stuff with the shot clock winding down, like turn around and all that stuff. That's how you get that because I'm already high. I already got my shot going. So now I'm gonna just start doing. Now these dudes just start making ridiculous shots. You're like, oh my gosh, how is he doing that? Because he's already gotten going, bro. He's already got his rhythm. So now he's you thought it was crazy before. Now he's really going crazy. So it's like that's my concern. I don't even know who I have in this game right now. But I will say that going to that's my one concern for that game. But Michigan does have the size advantage. Sherelle, if they get him in foul trouble, like Alabama, like it's honestly like this kind of game is kind of like the contrast of two different styles because Michigan, like they want to destroy you in the paint defensively and offensively. They want to put a lid on the rim on defense, and then they want to literally like dominate you in the paint with Linda Borg, Morris Johnson, and then Adai Mara. Like Sherelle in this game is going to be massive. He cannot get in foul trouble because all they have behind him is Noah Williamson, and he is just not good. Anyway, was not as advertised. Not what he didn't end up being what everybody thought he was going to be coming from the portal. So, like there, and he is like, I mean, he like at least the Sherrod has athleticism. He can run and that kind of stuff. And Williamson can't run. Like it's like he's slow. So it's like, and that's a real big question. That's a big issue because Mara and them and Morris Johnson, and Lindenborg, they run in transition. So if you get a Williams on the floor and them dudes and you start playing a miss shot, and you start playing a big time, fast paced transition game, and Williams is on the court, that could be a big issue because it's gonna be hard to keep Omar on them in transition. And then like I said, like so Sherrell's gonna have to he's gonna have to be like if Allen wants to win this game, can't get in foul trouble, gonna have to be a man, he's gonna have to defend, he's gonna have to like Allen's gonna have to rebound as a team. But he's like they're gonna like early like find all five guys are gonna have to crash the glass and understand this because of how small they are. There's gonna be times where all they're gonna do is like they're gonna go crash the glass and they're still not gonna get the rebound because of just how small they are compared to Michigan. But they're gonna have to take an effort to keep those guys off the glass, box out, and then go get the rebound, like all that stuff. It's literally a contrast, two different styles. This is like uh it's like water and like fire. Like it's just like they just don't mix, bro. It's like, but it's gonna be fun to see like who puts out who. Like it's gonna be crazy. But I love that matchup. It's gonna be fun and really interesting, especially with the way Michigan's defense is done so far in the tournament, first half of games. Texas, Purdue. Hold on.